After an emotional return to Atlanta over the weekend, Freddie Freeman is leaving his agency, Excel and Casey Close, firing his agent after how things went, unhappy, angry with how the negotiations went out. So we're going to dive into all of that today in this video. If you're happy for Freddie, make sure to hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the upcoming baseball content. We're going to dig into this, take a look at all the different angles, because this is not, I mean, it's kind of a new story. It's really not. This had certainly been building. If you go back to everything that happened right after the lockout, let's dive into exactly what's going on as of recording. So, sources from Buster Olney, Freddie Freeman, who has told his friends he's angry with how his free agent negotiations played out, is changing representation away from Excel. He is currently listed as being self-represented. John Heyman tweeting, email sent by Union Sunday to baseball agents. Please do not contact Freddie Freeman. To all agents, Freddie Freeman has requested not to be contacted by any agents. This email is often sent when a player changes agents, and Buster is reporting such. And Mark Bowman tweeting out Freddie Freeman's statement this short bit ago. Last weekend in Atlanta was a very emotional time for me and my family. I'm working through some issues with my longtime agents at Excel. My representation remains a fluid situation, and I will update if needed. So we're going back and forth here. It is looking like it is done. It's looking like it's done, and if it's done, good for Freddie, because the whole situation was a total disaster, if you ask me. Now, he ended up on a good team. In the end, it worked out, but the agent, Casey Close, and maybe others over there at Excel did not have their clients' needs in mind. So we take a look at what went down. It was a 6-year, $162 million deal, according to Jeff Passan, for Kylie McDaniel back in March. But remember, the Braves were not that far off. So you get 6 for 162, and a lot of that was deferred. He only gets that money back if he gets traded before the 6 years are up. Other than that, he's got to wait to collect a good portion of that money. And John Heyman talking about some of the losing bids. The Braves 5 for 140. I think it was actually 5 for 135, but it was right there, and it wasn't deferred. He would have had the money sooner. The better deal was with Atlanta for Freddie, but not for his agents. And that's what gets me fired up. That's what should get you fired up, that the player wanted to be somewhere, and the agents wanted to line their pockets. And you're going to say it's greed. You're going to say that's how it works. You're going to say it's corporate America. You say whatever you're going to say doesn't make it right. I don't like it at all. Ideally, if you're an agent, you can get a win-win situation. It's a win for the player, and it's a win for the agent. In this situation, it was a clear win for the agent and not for the player. And we just went through all this. We saw everything over the weekend with Freddie's return to Atlanta, getting his ring, the emotional state that Freddie was in with going back out onto that field for the first time since changing teams. You've got him not sitting on the bench. It's just there was a disconnect, and you do have to wonder, there is some word out there that maybe some Dodger players aren't really loving the antics over the weekend. Certainly for part of this weekend, didn't feel like he was a Dodger, felt like he was a Brave again. And I'm sure that is going to irk some Dodgers, though they may handle it behind the scenes, or they may just swallow it and move on, because Freddie Freeman does make the Dodgers better, and the goal is to win the World Series. So this situation with Freddie and the Dodgers, I don't think builds into anything, but it is something that is sort of a subplot playing out there. And again, this is no surprise that Freddie is going to be changing agents here, because we were on this back in March. It is one of the channel's most viewed uploads of all time to this point, with over 100,000 views and still more growing now, with some more of this kind of percolating these days. So we were on it, and here are some of the clips. We had Chipper Jones, who was close to both Freddie and Alex Anthopoulos. So both sides of the negotiation, Chipper had firsthand accounts of how everything was going down. We're going to get into Freddie's reaction. We're going to play some of the clips. Freddie's reaction from Chipper on the Matt Olson trade. Chipper's advice to players on how things should work with agents, and that it's not always about money. Let's run some of those audio bits from Chipper.
He was shocked that the Matt Olson trade went through, and that's where he was at. So if that doesn't tell you that he was thinking that he was going to come back, then you're not listening. Let me remind some young baseball players of something, and it's a rule that I have lived by since very early on in my career.
Tell them, Chipper.
When you hire representation, remember one thing: they work for you. It's not the other way around. Some guys are just real arrogant and pompous, and they're going to try and make as much money as they can for themselves. And it is up to you as the player to put your foot down and make sure. Free agency is not always about money. It is about playing where you want to play. And, I think that might have gotten lost in this situation.
Check out the video from March. I'll add a link to it. We have a lot more in the way of Chipper Jones soundbites kind of detailing how the whole thing went down, his interactions with Freddie leading up to and after and all of that. This thing got out of control. And again, we got Freddie Freeman here. You see the emotion. And we've never seen this before. We have seen Albert Pujols leave the Cardinals and go to the Angels. Now, he didn't have to go back to St. Louis the next year, but the emotion, we have never seen emotion from players when they go from one team to the next. What do you think? Comment below. Let me know what you think. This whole thing just doesn't smell right from a perspective of the player getting the best deal. He didn't even get the best deal. He's on a great team. He can win a World Series. He can play there for years, fall in love with the city, everything great. He's from the West Coast. There are 100 narratives as to why this works out for Freddie with the Dodgers. But the one thing that just sticks with me is that the agent took advantage of the player. The player did not get the best deal that was on the table. I don't care if you want to say that there's more money in the Dodgers contract than the Braves contract. The fact that the Dodgers contract is then deferred for many years after the contract is over means Freddie doesn't see that money. The agent still gets his commission. I don't like it at all. I feel like Freddie got taken advantage here. Again, still on a great team, can win the World Series, all that stuff. That's great. But I'm interested. What do you have to say? What do you think about this? It's a hot button topic. I think Dodger fans are sick of it. I think there are a lot of fans across baseball that are sick of it, don't want to hear anything more about it, or are annoyed and fed up with Freddie Freeman. Whatever. At the end of the day, I don't like the way this went down. You may be with me, you may be against me. Comment below and let me know what you think about the whole Freddie Freeman situation. I do appreciate you coming in and hanging out with the channel here and spending some time watching the video. Those of you that were with me when we did our first video on this back in March, if you're back again, comment and let me know that you're back. And again, let me know what you think now that we have seen this story play out a little bit more with Freddie going to be moving on from his agent. So, again, thank you for spending some time with the channel. I truly do appreciate it. I will add some links to some of the other content that I have done recently for you to check out here now. Appreciate you spending some time with the channel. Thank you for watching the video. Make sure, hit the like, subscribe, all of that. It really means a lot. Thank you, guys. I'll catch up with you next time.